Good day, everyone. This is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and this is Saturday, the 22nd of April, 2023. And this is the weekly technical analysis for the Euro, the Cable, and the Aussie dollar for the fourth week of April. And if we look across the three major pairs, they all have been consolidating in a narrow range for the week. Not able to, refusing to drop lower, to retrace lower, and also unable to break out higher as well. So a pretty tight range for last week. Heading into next week, one more week before the key FOMC meeting, and not just FOMC, but also the ECB and the RBA as well, except for the Bank of England, which will be a week later. So all holding on and staying put until more data, more fresh data to trigger any moves higher or lower. So except for the Friday, there was some news on the flash PMIs for all these major economies, including the US. So let's just take a look back at last week and at some of the figures that were released, and take a look forward into next week as well. Let's review last week, and the main key economic indicators for last week were the flash PMIs on Friday for all the major economies. But before that, on Tuesday and Wednesday, there was the UK jobs claims, basically the employment report. And there was higher figure for job claims, so that's negative for the economy, and also a higher CPI figure at over 10%, so which is higher than expected, and not a good news for the economy as well, and for the Bank of England, which will be looking at that inflation figure. And then on the Friday, all the major economies showed better services PMI, so that's pretty good, showing some growth in their retail sector for all the economies, except their manufacturing were all down. However, the US managed to score a higher manufacturing figure above 50 after a long time, and so both the manufacturing and services PMIs were better than expected, and way above 50 for services. And then now coming to this coming week, the focus back on inflation with the US PCE price index, which the Fed is keen to look at. There's also the Australian CPI expected to come in at about 6.6%. There's also the Bank of Japan policy meeting. However, not many changes expected with the new governor. And the key ones will be from the US on Thursday. There's advanced GDP with a 2% forecast and a PCE at a 0.3%. It has been, after a spike higher, it did come down to 0.3 for the last month, and it has maintained a forecast at 0.3. So this will be interesting to see whether it's going to stay the same or dip higher, dip lower, or maybe spike a bit higher. So this is a key one for next week to watch out for to end the month. and the last key figure for the Fed to look at before their 3rd of May meeting. All right, so we'll also see the US dollar index, the DXY, consolidating as well, same as the other major pairs. So last week it's all hovering at either their resistance or support levels for all the major pairs. All right, let's move back to the majors. Let's begin with the euro, where right from the start of the week it continued lower following the pullback on the previous Friday, but however managed to maintain, did not break the low for that week and climb back up to reclaim that drop from the start of the week. So managed to recover back close to the 1.10 level, key round figure here. So, and we'll see in the US dollar index to see whether that's also consolidating for the week and keeping close to the support level as an inverse correlation. Now, if we take a look on the weekly time frame, at close as a doji with a long low wick, so still indecision in the market, and we'll see whether this coming week there's going to be any breakout from here or whether it's still going to consolidate till the end of the month. Okay, so it's still going to be trading in a range for last week, and unfortunately not much room to move here. There was only a whole range for the week was only about 90 pips. So this week we'll see whether there's any opportunity for breakout higher from this potential consolidation in this ascending triangle. And if it does attempt to climb up higher, there's still a lot of resistance, and it could tumble back down and break this lower trend line. Intermediate support is still at the 38 pip retracement. And we probably would be able to move this key support up to the 108 level, where the daily 55 is coming up to, and also the 50 pip. Okay, that's this trend line here. As well as this lower trend line. Right, so let's see if it's just going to operate within this box, within this rectangle, and whether it's going to try to break out higher or break down. So watch out for potential fake breakout here, and then a return back to test the lower trend line. Let's see how it moves early part of next week. And then heading into the key Friday figure. All right, let's take a look at the US dollar index and see whether there's any inverse correlation here. All right, here's the US dollar index. And also consolidating after a strong push up at the start of the week, and then consolidated within that candlestick for the week and within this range. So quite similar to the euro. The inverse fashion. Let's move the. I think we can move this out of the way for now. And support is still at this swing low. Intermediate resistance. We'll leave it here at the 38 pip. And then the key resistance at the 50 pip, and along with the 103 round figure. So unfortunately, last week was also still just consolidating in within this box. Just positioning itself with some room to, from the support just above the 101, some room to try to break out higher, and it needs to break out to get to this 102.30 area. Otherwise, if it breaks down below 101, that's a potential retest of this swing low. All right, so key week next week to watch out for this price index figure. It's possible that it could continue just consolidate for another week. So another week of range trading. All right, so unfortunately nothing much for last week, and the weekly close was also a doji, same as the euro. Okay, let's move back to the other major pairs. Let's move on to the cable. And after a slight dip at the beginning of the week to almost test the lows of the previous week, managed to recover with the jobs report and also the CPI, and but could not climb up higher before pulling back down. And on Friday, it did try to retest the low of the week, but managed to bounce back up. So still trying to stay close to the 125 area, so just above 124 at 124.40. So still trying to stay afloat above the 21 pip retracement. Interim support is still going to be at the 38 pip, and with the daily 55 climbing back up as well, and along with this swing high area. Below that, at the 50 pip, the daily 200 is coming up, so that's a critical support zone. So no major news for the UK economy this week, and it's also exposed to the PCE data from the US. On the weekly time frame, it closed as a spinning top. So after a doji and a spinning top, but its momentum is waning. So let's see how it's going to perform next week. All right, let's move on to the Aussie dollar. And likewise, the Aussie dollar had even tighter range with about less than 90 pips. And trying to hold support just at the 67 round figure and at the 21 pip retracement. So still in the same area of concern where it could fall, and it's been unable to test the 38 pip and the 68 round figure, as well as the daily 200 EMA coming down. And this week there's CPI data from Australia, and we'll see how that's going to impact the RBA's decision for the following week on the 2nd of May, because they did not increase rate the previous round. So let's see how this will influence their decision. Okay, and on the weekly time frame, also almost a doji, but a spinning top for the week, and a lot of consolidation and getting close to some potential breakout soon. All right. So do check out my other videos on spot gold and dollar yen, and have a safe week and a good trading week. And cheers for now.